So I'm cold, I'm wet, bit dirty, the bike's definitely dirty. But today I've had a great day. Today I've been checking out this. It's CFMoto's brand new adventure bike. It's the 800 MTX. So we're here in the beautiful Otways, which is a national park south of Melbourne in Victoria in Australia, somewhere between Melbourne and the Great Ocean Road. And we're staying at this fantastic event centre where we've got the place to ourselves. We're in the middle of this beautiful bush and we are in the most ideal setting to check out adventure bikes. This time last year, I was actually at the factory in China of CFMoto, and myself and one other journalist got taken away, snuck off into this little room, and we were shown the pre-production version of this bike. It was 40 degrees, it was stinking hot. We're the other side of the world, but here we are. It's 5 degrees. We've had quite a bit of rain today, and we're actually riding the bike that was unveiled to us a year ago. Funnily enough, it's been the perfect environment to check the bike out, as really this is the sort of riding, the sort of thing that people that are going to buy a bike like the 800 MTX will come and do. CFMoto have been really on a mission over recent years, probably only in the last couple of years actually. Just so many new models, such new technology, going into different segments. For us in New Zealand and also here in Australia, we had the 450 MT, which was their 450cc adventure bike that literally took the market by storm. For us in New Zealand, it's been the biggest selling bike that we've had, I think, this year. And over here in Australia, I think it's been a real sales success as well. So that one's only 40 horsepower, it's smaller, it's maybe for sort of newbie sort of riders or guys who are sort of moving down from big adventure bikes. But now CFMoto have come out with this, and it's come through their collaboration with KTM. It's got their version of KTM's 790cc parallel twin in it, and it really is a great piece of kit. So starting at the top, CFMoto really do like their dashes and do like their technology. So we've got this lovely TFT dash, which almost looks like you've got an iPad strapped to the top. And it's portrait as well, so it's twisted that way around. A bit different, but got heaps of information on it. Really easy to read, actually. Nice big rev counter, speedo in the middle. What is unusual technology-wise with this is that not only have we got tyre pressure monitors, but we've also got tyre air temperature monitors in there as well. So you can see when your tyres get up to temperature, it's not like, you know, the MotoGP boys and what have you, that they know the actual heat of the tyre, but the air in it and then how that corresponds to the actual tyre pressure really does give you a bit of idea of what's going on with your tyres. So that's pretty cool. Talking tyres actually, because Australia, Melbourne, this Victoria area has had a heap of rain recently. They knew it was going to be a bit muddy for us, so they've swapped out the standard tyres for a set of very, very good Metzeler Karoo 4s, and they've been absolutely perfect. What we've been doing today, which has been a lot of gravel, dirt roads, that we get here in Australia that just go on and on and on, and they sweep and they go up and down. They really are magnificent. But then we've also went onto the Great Ocean Road, so a real nice bit of tarmac, a real motorcyclist road actually. So we got to experience the bike in both different sort of arenas, and to be fair, that is what adventure riding is all about. It's having the ability to ride a bike that won't be out of place when you're on a great twisty tar seal road, and also works when you're in here in the bush and you're doing your favourite dirt road or gravel road. So talking of the link with KTM, so CFMoto are licensed to produce the 790 version of KTM engines, and when we went to the factory in China, it essentially was like walking into a state-of-the-art facility, which is what CFMoto had to put together to be able to get that contract with KTM. So when people talk about, oh, it's made in China, it might be made in China, but it is made with all the same tooling and lasers and all that sort of stuff you see if you went to, you know, Japanese or Austrian factory. So it really is quality stuff. We've got that same petrol tank that you'd probably notice from the 890 KTM. So the fuel, 20 litres I think, sits nice and low on the bottom. Again, getting to the technology side of stuff, really easy to switch between standard, which is kind of your road mode, a rain mode, which dulls the throttle response, and an off-road mode. And if you hold onto the M button without holding it for 3 seconds, I think, roll off the gas, it turns into off-road mode on the fly, which is great when you're adventure riding. And that will cut the rear ABS and also turn the traction control off. A little bit disappointing that you can't have the traction control on, or maybe even have different levels of traction control. That's something I'd probably like to see. And also when you go into off-road mode, it dulls the throttle response. Personally, I'd like the standard throttle response, so snappy throttle response, rear ABS off, and a little bit of traction control maybe. That would make it perfect. But as it is at the moment, it's rear ABS off and traction control off and off-road mode if you're going off-road. Once you do that, it puts the front ABS into like a more off-road dynamic, I suppose. And it really is great. You really can scrap off speed and loosen slippery stuff really, really well. So yeah, it's a really nice package. It's nice that it's not too tall. The standard bike itself isn't too tall. I'm 6 foot. I can comfortably get both feet on the floor. They also do a low version, so what that does is takes 40mm out of the suspension. It gives you the same amount of travel, funnily enough, as the 450 MT. The 800 gets more suspension travel than the 450. So if you go the low version, you get the same suspension travel as the 450 MT. You can then also option a low seat, which takes another 20mm out of it. So I think it goes down to something like a 820mm seat height. I have to check that, but we had a couple of guys here who are on the shorter side, who normally struggle on adventure bikes and dirt bikes. They were feet flat on the floor. So if you're a shorter rider, shorter person, maybe female, shorter female, and you've always struggled with tall bikes, this is for you, because you can option those things, really get that seat height down low, but you don't lose out much in the way of suspension travel. CFMoto has really ticked the boxes when it's come to making an adventure bike. It is like they've just had a little checklist of what adventure riders want for their motorbikes. So, got a nice adjustable screen. You can adjust it on the fly, really easy. You can do it as you're going along. Not too over the top, but it's enough to get the blast off you. Good set of lights on it. It's got cruise control, which is great for a bike like this, but we've also got 21-inch wheel and 18-inch rear, which both are tubeless as well. So they're tubeless spokes, so they're nice and strong, but you don't have that hassle of having to run an inner tube. Suspension-wise, it's a company that we've not heard of over here actually, but they're 48mm forks, which are totally adjustable, fully adjustable. So we've got compression, rebound, preload. They've even got little caps to take the pressure out of them. So It's very much like they've looked at a WP or something like that, looked at maybe the suspension that goes into the KTM, have replicated it and got their own brand. It works surprisingly well actually. None of us here really were messing around with settings or anything like that. It was nice and plush in the initial part of the stroke, but when you pushed on, it really had the support there to sort of hold the bike up. So it's not like we were bottoming the bike out or anything like that. So really good front suspension. Got a monoshock at the rear with a remote preload adjuster, which is really great if you're going to put luggage on the back. It'll put a pillion on the back. You can just jack some preload in, firm up the rear. And then let it out about without having to get tools out or anything, and it's just a really nice package. They've got one bike here actually that's fully optioned, so they've got all the CFMoto genuine accessories on it. So nice set of heated grips, which a lot of people were really jealous of today actually. Bash plates, crash bars, full luggage, aftermarket pegs, more protection, bigger screen, all that sort of stuff. So you don't have to go off trying to find your own accessories from some other brand. CFMoto does all their own accessories, and being CFMoto, they are remarkably affordable. Riding today in such a mix of conditions really does put a bike like this to the test, and we've had real slippery tracks, we've had gravel, we've had the twists and turns of the Great Ocean Road. We really have a bit of everything, and the power plant really has been a standout part of the bike, I must say actually. It's beautifully smooth, it's 95 horsepower I believe, 87 newton meters of torque, so the torque is actually higher and lower in the rev range thanks to some mapping changes than the touring version that CFMoto have put this motor in. And it really does work nicely for everything that you want to do adventure riding. You've got loads of punch off the bottom, and the mid-range, it really does, when the revs are sort of sitting in the 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 RPM range, you just got heaps of grunt there, which when you're on the loose stuff, you turn the traction control off, is perfect for the sort of power sliding and getting the bike to turn. You can then hold on to the revs, and it's got this sort of whiz as it gets higher in the rev range. And say when you're lighting up the rear wheel, or when you're really on it chasing your best mate, it really is an entertaining and involving power plant, which I guess is probably not something we're used to saying with Chinese motorcycles, but it's that KTM CFMoto tie-up that really has paid dividends with this bike. We think they look pretty cool actually, chatting with everyone today. Like, it looks sharp. They've got the design right. Not a big fan really of the black. They do the blue and silver, which I think just makes it stand out, makes it pop a little bit more, but they look really smart, you know, and as I say, they do tick all the boxes. They've got those spoked wheels, they've got the LED lights, they've got the aggressive look, and it really is a cool looking bike. When you're up on the pegs, the riding position's quite nice. I'd probably be tempted, we've taken the rubbers out of the pegs, I'd probably be tempted to go for the aftermarket pegs if you really are going to get more into your adventure side of stuff. They were just a bit bigger, a bit grippier, but the way the bike is so slim in the middle here, your legs just sort of fit into this area here between the front of the saddle and onto the side of the tank there, and it's really easy for gripping the bike and moving the bike around on. And even the handlebars, to be honest, no one was really talking about wanting to swap handlebars out or rotate handlebars forward or anything like that. It really is quite a nice standing attack position. When you're not adventure riding though, you can sit down in this saddle, which was surprisingly comfortable actually. Probably not, that's one thing they haven't taken from the KTM bikes, who have notoriously firm saddles, but it was just a nice place to be. You've got the bar on the crossbar on the top here in front of the screen that you can mount a GPS on. It's got the T-box standard in this, so with that you can connect to the bike to the CFMoto app on your phone, and you can do all sorts of clever things with it. The one real clever feature with it is you can get a notification to your phone telling that your bike's been moved, and you can then track it. So if you're at work, your bike's at home, and you get a notification on your phone, you know that someone's in there messing around with your bike. So a real neat feature, and just another nice little touch. Adjustable levers, which is nice to see. Okay, we always get an adjustable brake lever, but we've got an adjustable clutch lever again, which lends itself to making this a great bike for people of different sizes. So if you're smaller, you can get the low model, so you can get your feet flat on the floor, but if you've got small fingers, you can adjust the levers back, so it just makes it a little bit easier for you. We've had a few comments, a few issues with CFMotos in the past with fueling, and they're quite a quick reactive company in that somebody makes a comment and they look into it and they come up with an update, and they've got new updates for the bikes, new fueling maps and that sort of thing, which we've got the latest map in this, and the throttle response was pretty much spot on. Just if you were probably sitting in second gear, going through some of the towns where you're just trying to sit at a slower speed limit, because you've got the softer suspension, the bike's sort of moving around a bit, you just get a little bit like that on the throttle, and then maybe you just got a little bit of jerkiness, but other than that, it was completely fine. So that was great, and obviously you can throw it into rain mode or even off-road mode, and you've then got a smoother throttle map anyway. So if standard is a little bit snatchy for you, you can just flick it down. And now the best bit with the 800 MTX, and that's the price. CFMoto have always been really aggressive with their pricing. Like I said, with the accessories, they're really affordable. So, you know, you can afford to double the bike up, add a few bits and pieces, get a bit of, you know, a bit more protection, that sort of stuff on it if you want to. And especially because the bike's so affordable to buy in the first place. So for us in New Zealand, it's $15,990 plus on-road costs, which is quite remarkable for a bike like this. 800cc, 790cc adventure bike with pretty much all the bells and whistles on it, and pretty much a bike that you chuck a set of knobblies on and you can just go and do anything you want to when you want to go adventure riding. It is just exceptionally versatile, but also amazingly affordable. So we're going to go and do it all again tomorrow. We're hoping the rain stays away. Someone's put a fire on so we can go and warm our gear. We're going to have probably a few drinks and a bite to eat, and yeah, go and tackle a bit more of the Australian bush and Australian dirt tracks before heading back to New Zealand. Had a great time on the CFMoto 800 MTX. If you're in the market for an adventure bike and you've always thought, CFMoto, Chinese, not interested, you need to go and take a look.